Oh dear.
What if you could record every minute of your life, no matter where you are, without needing to take anything out your pocket? Well, that's the premise of the Insta360 Go 2, a camera that might well change your entire perspective on cameras. So, thanks to the company for sponsoring this video, and these are my top 10 things to know. Have a look at this. This is last year's Insta360 Go 1, and this is the kind of footage it can take. It's solid, just given how tiny the thing is. But this is what the Insta360 Go 2 can capture. It's still this tiny little camera, but it's now using the same size image sensor as a GoPro Hero 9. And as you can probably tell, it makes the last version look like a toy. Now, you might know this about me. I don't personally mind using bulkier gadgets if I think they're better. This is why I always buy the Pro or the max-sized version, never the minis. It's why I bought the PS4 Pro and not the PS4 Slim. Or just look at the camera we're recording this on. But for this device in particular, being this small is the reason it can be what it's trying to be. It means you can fit it anywhere, inside a packet of crisps, inside an Amazon delivery package, even a smartphone box if you wanted to. That shot was actually from our recent video about LG smartphones. But more importantly, being this small allows it to be light enough that you can wear it. And I don't mean wear it as in use a specialized 4-way chest strap to pull it into your body. I mean, you can slip it onto your pocket and get a waist-level view. You can strap it onto your cap and get this really elevated above-head perspective. You can even put it on your shoe if you wanted to. I still don't know why I did this. It's a very weird angle, but the point is, you can. That's what makes it fun. And probably the most unique example of the mounting possibilities is this necklace. You put it on underneath whatever you're wearing, and the camera snaps on top. And it's so weird. When you record from this perspective, it really starts to look like you're playing in your own video game. Like, you could come back to this at any point and very literally put yourself in your own shoes. Now, there's only one microphone on this thing, and because it's facing directly upwards, chances are it's only really going to pick up your voice. So bear that in mind. But as a concept, I'm totally on board with this. This idea of being in a moment, of not feeling like I need to hold my phone in front of my face to capture what's happening. Instead, just being able to appreciate it. And they have actually made the magnet even stronger than the last Gen 1. But, it is still a magnet. If you whacked it, it would fall off. We've done that. Twice. 3 times. But there's the even simpler fact that number 7, this camera isn't just magnetic. It isn't just the thing that you could stick to a magnet. It is the magnet. Which means that if you see a metal surface, it could be the bars holding up a tennis net, or just about any signpost on any street, there's a pretty good chance that you could just slap this on. And that is our tripod sorted. And it addresses one of the main problems I've had when trying to use my phone to record things, namely that you normally need a second person. Because chances are you're not just going to come across a ledge that's at the perfect height to leave it on, and even if you did, it takes a certain kind of risk aversion to want to prop your phone up against an object and leave it there in the public while you film yourself. This does also have a socket to attach it onto an actual tripod, but the coolest part of this is that the case of the Go 2 has its own tripod built in. Now, even if you can't find a magnetic surface, and if you decide that you don't want to use the case's own tripod, there's an accessory for that. Now, this is not a cheap camera, I will get to that. But in an age where smartphones are no longer coming with chargers, and video games are releasing half-finished so that the companies can charge you more later for the rest, it is nice to see a product that just has everything you could need in the box. And possibly the most versatile of those is the pivot stand. If you struggle to put the camera somewhere with all of the above options, this will almost definitely do it. All of a sudden you can stick to any flat surface. To be honest, even the not so flat surfaces. I was using this to stick it onto my helmet while I was cycling. I stuck this in a car to act as a sort of premium dash cam. And not that it's worth getting this just for this purpose, but it looked good. Also, as you can probably tell for just about every accessory here, there's a dual purpose. So in the case of this pivot stand, there is a cover that slides over the sticky bit to turn it into a handle. I don't know what to tell you, it's just well thought out. But you get the idea, you can stick it anywhere. But this is where it gets interesting, because this is where the software comes in. You can record slow-mo at 120 FPS. There's time lapses, which, I mean, you probably know what a time lapse is at this point. But the thing with this is that it's easy. I was on a walk a couple of weeks ago and I found this view that I really liked the look of. So all I did was I grabbed this, I reached through the fence, and I just magnetically clipped it on. And then I left it there. I went on my walk, I came back 15 minutes later, and I had my time lapse. And it even has HDR mode, which, you know, every now and again when you've got that really bright sky, it gets overexposed. This somewhat addresses that. The one thing I'm hoping for though, is that this first go camera, it had the most ridiculous feature called interval shooting, where once every few minutes, it could turn itself on, record like a 15-second clip, and then turn itself off again. It's amazing, but the Go 2 doesn't have that. So I guess this is my way of saying, please? Okay, number 4. Of all the software features and trickery that it has, one of them stands above the rest. It can edit videos for you. You just pick the clips you want in it, or really just allow it to use all of them, and this apparently uses AI to figure out what's important. And it matches those important bits to the beat of a track, which is a pretty good example of how this company knows what they are. They know that this camera isn't about to replace the Blackmagic Cinema 4.6K camera we've got there. They know it's not going to replace a stack of professional lenses, but they are hoping that this is a camera you'll keep with you, to potentially remember snippets of every day of your life. And if you are going to use it for that purpose, they're also very aware that even if you're like me and you loved editing, you're probably not going to want to sit through half an hour of footage every evening and chop it up manually. You obviously can do it yourself if you really wanted to, but I've not felt the need to. Okay, number 3. There are 3 different levels of ways to control the Go 2. You can either use the camera itself, there's a hidden button on it, and you can make it so that like one tap starts video, for example. You can use the case, which has buttons and a screen on it to change modes, but the best way of doing this is via your phone. Because if you do it this way, you can get a continuous live feed of the camera. On the subject of that case though, and this whole idea of like each accessory serving multiple purposes, this is also a battery pack. It can charge the camera 3 times over. Now, as I've been using this over the last month, I have put this camera in a lot of risky places, but for the most part, I've not had to worry about it. You can splash it, you could take it to a shower, if that's what you wanted to do. It's actually completely immersible in water up to 4 meters, which, I mean, if I lived in a more tropical location, I would have probably made this my go-to camera for snorkeling. Get it? Go-to? No? Okay. It actually comes with replaceable glass lens covers, which means that if you do accidentally, just directly whack it with a tennis serve, you can swap the glass. Okay, number 1, my favorite thing about this Insta360 Go 2 is Pro Video mode. And it's not what it sounds like. It's basically a new type of recording format that you can pick instead of normal video, and at the cost of taking up more storage, it gives you everything the sensor sees. Think of it this way, while normal video comes out at a 2560 by 1440 resolution in a 16:9 aspect ratio, the full sensor can actually capture a little bit more horizontally and a lot more vertically. It's got a 2688 by 2688 resolution, meaning that it's actually a square. And the implication of this is that even after you've taken a video, you can completely change the aspect ratio. I can shoot one clip and from that export both a widescreen version for YouTube and a tall version for an Instagram story. It means that I can reframe my footage if I cut something off accidentally, and it even means I could keyframe. I can create motion even if the camera was still. Like let's say I took a static time lapse. I can scroll up and set that as a start point, and then I can scroll down and set that as an end point. And this means that even without using a professional slider, or really even a tripod at all, I can take a moving time lapse with this tiny camera without losing quality. I could even make my normal footage do a barrel roll if I wanted to, without cropping in further. Now, the final, and arguably most curious thing that Pro Video enables is a feature called Horizon Lock. Or in other words, no matter how you orientate the camera, no matter how you rotate that sensor, because it is a square with room around the edges, it can keep itself completely upright. Like, just for a bit of fun, I put this in my washing machine. This is the result. So, that's the Go 2. It's $299, which it feels like both a lot and a little at the same time, depending on how you look at it. Because yes, you can get cameras that record higher quality footage for $299, but you probably can't get cameras with this many alternative perks. It does make you wonder, Is this the world we're moving towards? Are we moving towards a world where everyone's going to be recording everything? Maybe. I mean, if small cameras are improving this quickly, I could see it. Anyways, I will leave a link in the description down below for this product. Like I said, this is a sponsored video, but part of my conditions for that to the company were that I was allowed to speak my mind. Okay, thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.